first time that my family, my daughter reminded me, this is the first Christmas that we as a family have not been together. And so I'm having some of the players come to the house, and they don't even know yet. I think I'm going to make them stay over. They don't have family in town. Not for them, for my wife and I. They don't even know it. But, this is these times. I'm just telling you, I feel for you if you're going to be by yourself and you can't be with family and you can't. But this stuff is. It's just so uncertain what it is that we all have to continue to protect each other.
Daryl Bird, we'll start with you, and then Jerry Tipton after that.
Good morning, John. I was doing a little research for this, and I noticed your first UMass team lost 5 in a row early. Your first Memphis team, I think, started 2-6, but then went on to win 8 in a row later in the year. So you've been through this before and come out the other end of a team that's struggling. What are the steps that you'll see that are like, okay, we're starting to break through. This is going to be okay. How does it play out?
Remind me of that stuff again. Tell me what they were.
First UMass opened 3-7 and lost 5 in a row. Your first Memphis team started 2-6, but then ended up winning 8 in a row once you got into conference.
But again, schedule sometimes dictates what you're saying. Like, I'd have to look at the schedule and say, okay, yeah, but we had a game or two that got us going and we got on a roll. But I just kept coaching and kept demanding. And, with this team, let me just say that the thing that was hard, I regret that I could not do, the team building stuff. But I'm doing it now. I mean, we're doing all kind of team building things. Anything I can do that brings them together, and we're about team. Some of the stuff is funny. I may even have Eric put some of it out. If you watched it, you would say, well, that is hysterical. But it's team building, that they got to do something together with one another. And none of you, we got to do it in unison. We've got to. So the other part of bringing them together. This has been that piece of it. When you only are on the court 2-3 hours a day with somebody and the rest of the time you're not creating a relationship, this is extremely hard with new teams. And so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do a better job of getting them to understand how to finish games. 4 minutes to go, we look panicked. Well, then that's on me. Your team looks like they don't know what they're doing in the last 4 minutes of the game. Everybody's trying to get theirs. They panic, and now they miss open shots. They miss free throws. And you have a chance to win every one of those games, and that's on me to really try to figure this out. But, at the end of the day, I believe we'll start shooting the ball better. You guys have been following me for years, and I say it every year. You come in, your team stinks, they can't shoot, and all of a sudden by the end of the year we're making the shots we need to make, making the free throws we need to make. This has just been unrelenting because the competition hasn't given us a chance to play just okay and win a game and start believing. So now we got to go. Now, one of the things I'm doing is I just told them I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to enjoy myself. We named 3 guys to be leaders, to do away with all the non-negotiables, attitudes, how you accept coaching. I'm not dealing with any of that now. The players are going to deal. So that's off my plate. Trying to get them to be more in control of how we're playing offensively and less of it me. The main thing you're hearing me say right now is go, speed, because we're trying to get some easy baskets. And that's, even that, if they don't understand it and I've got to prod them into flying, we're not going to be where we want to go by the end of the year. So I kind of threw a lot of stuff at you guys, but I'm trying, tweaking. We still got a player injured. I'm not going to tell you. I'm hoping he can practice some today. when you have that, it even takes away more. But we're not the only one. There's no excuses here. We got to figure out how to play the last 4 minutes in these kind of games.
Gary, go ahead. John Hale, you'll be after him.
Excuse me. I wonder with the team building and the issues, like you say, the last 4 minutes, I'm wondering if that diminishes a little bit from, the outsized reaction usually to Kentucky, Louisville, that the concentration is more on your team, not any sort of rivalry thing.
I think there still is. I mean, that's why ESPN moved the game. They moved it from 2 to ESPN because people are going to want to see the rivalry of the game. We know they're going to come in and fight. They do a great job. I mean, they've got big guys. They got guards. They're playing pack line. They're playing through Jones. Johnson's playing well. They're rebounding the ball. They fight. They absolutely try to take 15 charges a game. We're avoiding charges right now. It's all stuff we've been working on, but there's not been carryover into games. Theirs has. Now, they got a young team too. They've got inexperience like we do, guys that haven't played together. So, they've played better than we've played, no question about it. They've been more specific in how they're playing, mostly through Jones and putting them in pick and rolls and doing stuff with them. But everybody on that team has accepted their role. We're still trying to figure out who's who right now.
John Hale, you got the next question. Kyle Tucker, you'll be after him.
Cal, since Rick left Louisville, the off-the-court part of the rivalry has been pretty boring until this summer with the back and forth between you and Chris, maybe the recruitment of Bryce Hopkins. I'm curious, did something change to kind of bring some spice back to this for you guys?
It's the Louisville game, whether it's Rick or Chris, it really doesn't matter. And by the way, I offered to postpone the game if they wanted to, and they for some reason told me no, they're good, they'll go. I said, but you're not going to have fans. Do you still really want to play this? And they said, oh yeah, we want to go. So I guess we're okay now.
Kyle, you got next. John Long after him.
Cal, what has been the most surprising thing to you about this struggle early? I mean, I know that you guys were excited about what you were seeing early on. Was some of this sort of misreading it because those guys are playing in no pressure before the games actually start, and you're able to see what they can do? I don't know. I wonder what has surprised you.
Every year though, my read. Sometimes I'm just one of those, I get optimistic. I really like the players personally, like I like these players. So it's more me looking at them and thinking we're this. And then it comes down. If you remember when we had Shea and Kevin Knox in that group, and we just were, and then it took us a while to figure out, wait a minute, how are we going to play with this team? The difference is we had some games we could win, we could do some stuff, and kind of came together when we went to West Virginia and played through 2 guys. And then we knew, okay, these are how we're going to do this. Trying to get to that point with this team. I still have great faith. The biggest thing, I want to have fun coaching. Now, what brings about frustration? What for a coach and a staff? What would you tell me? You can't be having fun if you're frustrated. What would you say? Most of you really don't know, but what would you say?
Lack of effort.
That would be frustrating. That's not been a problem for us. But go ahead. What else?
Attitude.
Perfect. Coming in and out of games, how you're being coached, how you're responding to coaching. What else?
Ignoring the game plan.
Yeah. Like we just worked 3 days on something and you're doing what you want to. How about selfish play and it leads to a bad shot, but you could have made an extra. It's like where we're really working on certain things and then you go in and do it. That's all frustrating. So part of what we're trying to do is say the non-negotiables are on you as a team. and it's on you three to deal with this. I'm done with it. You know, and I think the guys understand what we're trying to do. I mean, had a sports psychologist come in and be available to the guys, you know, kind of a mind coach, so that they had a chance in the off days, if they chose to, you know, grab them and spend time with them. A lot of this is your mentality that you're a 1-5 team. That's not my mentality. Now, the record says we're 1-5 and we're not very good. If you watch for 20, 30 minutes of these games, you'll watch and say, how do you get that to 40 minutes? How do you eliminate unforced errors? That's what my job is, because they don't have the answers to that. That's got to be me making things clearer. Clarity. When you struggle, clarity. When you struggle, ready? Don't worry about talent, skill. What can we deal with? One, attitude. We're going to be the greatest attitude. We're listening if I'm in, I'm out. How about game planning? How about effort? And let's dive on the floor and let's take charges like Louisville. Louisville's trying to take 20 charges a game. They're just flying around, throwing bodies, falling. Well, that brings energy. And then for us, we just got to continue plugging away at what it is offensively, because if you go stop a team 10 straight times and you're not getting any reward from it, but if you get a reward, it starts picking you up and you get a swagger. So we got to figure out some things there. But I said it, I haven't lost any faith in this team. I don't listen or read anything that you guys or anybody else is saying. It doesn't help whether you tell me I'm the greatest or now I'm the worst. That doesn't have any effect on me other than how do I do this to make sure these kids understand I'm with you. This isn't easy. People are seeing blood in the water and you're Kentucky. This is their chance. And I'm not talking specifically about Louisville. I'm talking about every team in our league. This is our chance to smash these dudes. And so they got to understand these teams are coming. We're not going to face a team that doesn't play hard or plays poorly. They're not going to. I don't expect that Saturday. I expect Louisville to play well. I expect it. What I'm hoping is we play better. And if we're playing better and we see it and we compete, we'll live with the results. I'm feeling like, again, there are things that I got to do to help these guys get over the hump, and I'm doing everything I can right now.
John, go ahead. Tyler will be after him.
John, you've had to deal with all these non-negotiables before. I mean, you've had players screw up, and yet you've always gone out of your way to protect them, to make sure that you took the heat. And yet this situation with Cameron, it almost seems like that you were just a lot more direct. Maybe kind
So
of
what does
wonder
that mean to you, John? When I'm not publicly, which I normally don't, publicly, we deal with it in-house because I don't want to hurt any kid. But when you have to send somebody home, that's a different deal. Now all of a sudden, that's going to be public. And you're going to see warm-up. Where's Cam? Where's Cam? And then all of a sudden, John, he's not. I had to address it. The second thing I didn't want to address or have someone else address it, not knowing exactly what it was. So why isn't he here? Has he been? Here's what it is. Just like I've always been transparent. Here's why. Here's what must change for him to rejoin the team. He called me last night. He tried to reach me during the day. I was in practice. He called me after. I called him back, and we had a great conversation. His high school coach called. His mother called. Everybody is on board and they know this is the best thing for Cam. What I heard last night was, I get it. I understand, and I can promise you X, Y, Z. That was from him. My thing was, we're going to meet with your coach, and your mom and make sure everyone understands these are the expectations. This is what they are. I thought I made that clear in the recruiting process, but maybe I didn't. But here are the This is it. And it also, again, guys screw up, but some guys, I'll just give you an example. Davion did something in a practice that was, and I told the team after, why did I not go crazy about that? Because if it came from you or you, I probably would have gone nuts. But it came from Davion because he has money in the bank. He hadn't done anything. He hadn't said anything. This kid has been perfect. And he has a step out of himself moment. It's different. These kids, my job is about these kids, not just what we're trying to do. Cam's case was totally different than anybody else on here. Again, what if a kid says, well, what about him? What about him? You don't need to be here then. Don't worry about him. Don't judge your behavior versus someone else's bad behavior. This all is accumulative. And with him, it was not one thing. And he knows it. It wasn't one thing. It was, I'm asking you to change. I walked 25 steps with you. You don't change. I got to let you go. And now, in this case, he'll be back. Unless, we have a call and it's not what I think. But I believe he'll be back. And you got everybody around him thanking me. You got everybody around him thanking me. And so, again, why I did it the way I did it, I just told you. But I think he'll be better for this. And now we understand that there are certain non-negotiables here. You just can't be this way. You can't act this way. This is hard. There's emotion in this. Players play, coaches coach.
Guys, we got 2 players waiting, so I'm going to go with Tyler and then John Clay, and then we'll move to the players. Go ahead, Tyler.
Hey, John, you've mentioned the magnitude of this rivalry, obviously. Do you feel like it comes at an opportune time this year to serve as like a motivating factor for these guys to come together and build some momentum to end this streak?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure when you have, most of the kids not from the state of Kentucky, if it's like this is the game, end all games. It really isn't. It's not a league game. It's, but it's because we're so close that creates that rivalry with us. And so I don't think I'm not looking at it like, okay, this is the game we have to win. I don't coach any game that way. This is a game we got to start playing better. This is a game we got to finish the last 4 minutes like we have been coached. And again, most of this comes back to me. And I'm not trying to make it about me. I'm trying to tell you I'm the coach. And if there's a behavior that's not acceptable, then it's something that they think I will accept. That comes back to me too. If they're playing a certain way selfishly, then that comes back to me too. If they're not finishing games the way they should finish games, that comes back to me too. Now, if they're not playing with energy, if they're not fighting, if they're not doing that, some of that, as a coach, you can't, that's, if you truly want to play this game, those are things you have to do. Game planning, we just got to get better. Here's what's happened, whether it was Notre Dame, North Carolina, whoever it is, when we break down one guy, see, it takes 5. It takes a team. One guy breaks down. The other teams, they're too good. They're making us pay. You know why? They got veteran players. You break down, they're not missing that play. And that's what's happened to us over and over and over. And we continue to preach on it and talk about it. But I come back to this. I want to have fun. If you think I'm happy about this record, you're crazy. You know me well enough. But I'm not going to let it change how I approach this, because this is about what I can do for these young people. And the only way I can do the job that I do every year is have a ball with it. And I always have fun coaching, because if I'm not having fun, how am I going to do my job for these kids? So I told them that. I want to have fun. Some of this stuff that frustrates coaches, it's your job to eliminate it so that I can have fun and coach that way, which is how you want me to coach.
Last one, John Clay.
John, you said earlier that you picked 3 leaders on this team. Who did you pick and why?
Well, I'll let it play out and let it play how it does. And you know, you have to have older guys. You had to have guys that have the experience of this. And so kind of give you a hint. But the whole point of this is we need some guys, forget about leading, just worry about playing better. Worry about being more engaged with our team. But these three, and the reason I did three, I want them to back each other and basically run this team. When did my team last year become empowered? Where it was their team. Because that's what I'm trying to do every year. So when did that team become empowered? Anybody watch the season with us? Larry, you always have answers to everything. Now you're growing a beard. I think it's gotten to your brain, but when did we become an empowered team?
I would say it was about midway of the season.
There was a game. Something happened in a game. I'll give you hints, guys, because you may not. Go ahead, Darryl.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I got thrown out of the game, and Ashton puts his arm around me and said, Coach, we got this. Coach, I'm telling you, just go. We got this. And I walked off the floor, and we outscore them by 20 points in 10 minutes. At that point, we became empowered. That team had a chance to win the national title. We lost 2 games in Vegas. We lost to Evansville. We should have lost to Utah Valley. They become empowered. I'm trying to do that. It may take more time. I've had teams not get it till February. I'm not stopping. I'm not budging. I'm not cracking. Biggest thing for me is I want to have fun doing this. That's the secret sauce in what we do. Yeah, I'm aggressive and I hold them accountable and a high standard, but I'm having a ball. And I think they can feel that. And right now, there's been a frustration level because of things that normally are non-negotiable in this program.
Guys, give me a minute. Davion will be in here.